No.
All right, sorry. Okay. Tell me this. Okay. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to Zero Interest. This time we're looking at Death Parade, starting with Episode 1, Death 7 Darts. This was a show that a lot of the fans in the Discord voted for, and they wanted to see us take a look at this. I watched the entire series just to catch up with the votes, because I hadn't actually finished it back then. And now Casey watched Episode 1 for the first time. Casey, what are your thoughts?
I watched the dub, to be clear. I don't think it especially matters in this show.
I watched the sub, so...
It's a passable dub. It's fine. It's most of the cast you're familiar with for dubs of anything. So, bit of background. I'm vaguely familiar with this show, mostly because back in 2015 when this came out, Zero had a tendency to say, hey, here's the anime that are coming out for this season, these are the ones that I'm kind of interested in. And he talked about Death Parade, and it sounded like a really interesting concept. I still think it's an interesting concept, but if there's one thing I would actually say about it so far from this one episode, I could pretty much just sum it up in the word arbitrary.
Okay.
So, okay. Summarizing the episode. So, a couple, a man and a woman, find themselves getting off of I think two separate elevators. I think they come in on. I can't remember whether.
Yes, two separate elevators.
Yeah. Out of curiosity, do they leave on the same elevators or the different ones?
They leave on the same elevators, or not different ones. They leave on the ones that fit their judgment.
Okay.
Because one elevator will lead to, just to kind of go ahead a bit. This show's about judging people in the afterlife through games that are meant to bring out the darkness in them.
We'll get to that. So,
but yeah, those elevators, they leave on whichever one matches the judgment.
Yeah, I was curious whether they came in and left on the exact same elevators, which might imply that they were judged before the games even began, and this is just illuminating the reasons for them more than anything else, but I don't know.
That's not the case with these judgments. They go on there are some cases where both will go into one elevator, for example.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. That's fair enough. That might have been better, actually, if... Anyway, but, yeah. So, they enter this building confused because they don't remember pretty much anything beyond they were on their honeymoon and driving to wherever that was going to take place. And now they're here, and they're very confused. And they find a bar with a white-haired gentleman standing behind it, claiming to be there. Dekim, was that?
Dekim, or is his name, or Desim.
Dekim, okay. Oh, yeah. Huh.
Welcomes him to the Duo Dekim bar.
Doesn't that just mean 12?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so he welcomes them to the bar and says he will be their bartender for the evening, and that he would like them to partake in a game. Will be randomly selected via roulette, and he very much recommends that they play. And they're like, yeah. Oh, also, you can't leave. And they're very much like, okay, nice to meet you, crazy person, bye. Which, fair enough, and they try and leave and try and find literally anything else, any way out, anything, The elevators don't work. There is a bathroom, which is nice of them, that they had in this judgment facility that they have a bathroom. Souls pee. I did not know that, but it's good to know.
It's there to make it more lifelike.
Let me just have my fun. So they return to the bar, and they're like, what the fuck, dude? I think the guy whose name I don't remember, but isn't particularly important, grabs him by the shirt and is like, okay, what's the deal? This is kind of fucked up. Did you kidnap us or something? This is messed up. And the bartender is like, I'm afraid you can't leave. You will be playing a game. I very much recommend you go along with it. And the back of the bar sort of just moves out of the way. And there are corpses behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, okay, this guy's he's a crazy person. So, let's just go along with it and see where this goes.
Yes.
Basically. And the woman whose name is Machiko, which is important, actually, for plot reasons. She's like, okay, I trust you, and all lovey-dovey moment. And guy presses the button to start the roulette, and it lands on darts. So the bartender explains the game. They each have 7 darts. And it's just a traditional 501 game, only with 7 darts. So the first person to reach 0, or the closest to it, after all 14 darts have been thrown, is the winner. Also, every section of the board has been linked up to a body part. So if you hit a certain part of the board, the corresponding body part on your opponent will feel some level of pain depending on the point value of that body part. So hitting a double would make it worse, triple, way worse, basically.
Mm.
And the heart is a bullseye, by the way. Also. Vaguely important. So, also, he explained why they're there, I think, at this point. He explained that this is... No, he doesn't. He explained that later.
He doesn't. He saves that for later, yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. So... Yeah, so they have to play the game, and like, okay, fine. And I think, was it the woman or the man that throws first?
I can't remember, but the exact of which threw first, per se.
I think the first one was the man threw first, and the woman, it hits like 6 or something, which is like the shoulder. And she feels a pain in her shoulder. It's like, oh, okay. That hurt, but then it just immediately went away. It was just like a sharp pain, and then it was gone. It's like, okay, that's kind of... Okay. All right, so it's your turn. And she throws and hits, I think it was like the chest or something. And he moves the shirt out of the way, and like there's no mark or anything. It's just like, It really fucking hurt, and then it stopped. And he's like, grabs the bartender again. He's like, okay, I'm a doctor, dude. There are no surgical scars. There's nothing to indicate any reason that should have caused that kind of pain. What the fuck is going on?
Mm-hmm.
Is this some kind of magical bullshit or what? I believe it's at this point that the bartender says, okay, if you really want to, you could just throw darts just outside of the scoring area, and that would fulfill the terms of the game. Of course, doing that because she has scored 7 points and you have scored 6, you would lose. But if that's the way you want to play,
you
can. He's like, okay. So he goes along with it. He's like, yeah, all right. So, honey, if we just throw the darts outside the scoring area, we'll be fine. We can just do that. He's, it's fucking weird, but he's kind of being nice about being really weird and crazy. So we can just do that. It's fine. So they do for quite a while. I think a couple of darts left each. When hubby has a flash of insight, let's call it, and he remembers the corpses that were hanging behind the bar. And in that flash of insight, I assume it's supposed to be subconsciously, decides, I don't want to lose, and actually hits something. The mouth, I believe. Part.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she bleeds and spits up blood. And she's like, what the fuck? That really fucking hurt. Why did you do that? And he's like, sorry, my hand, I don't know, my hand slipped. I'm sorry. Are you okay? She's like, yeah, I'm fine. I'll just throw. And she tries to throw normally, but she coughs up blood or something while she's throwing, and hits him in the eye. I want to say was next.
Yeah, I believe it was the eye. Yeah.
Yeah. And I can't remember the exact order of events, but this is where the whole judgment thing starts to get a little screwy.
This is where they start to get memories. And start to remember the events leading up to their death.
Yeah, so he remembers a conversation he overheard about her that, no, wait, no. First, oh, fuck. I can't quite remember the exact order of events. Right, so, basically, just to sum it up, she remembers, oh yeah, I'm pregnant, so he just needs to really not hit my belly. I don't care whether I win or lose, but just don't hurt this area.
Yeah.
That would be really bad. And he's like, oh, I'm going to be a dad. That's yay! And while he's celebrating and about to throw his next dart just outside the scoring area, I'm going to be a dad. I'm not going to hurt her. Are you fucking kidding me? He remembers something. He remembers a conversation he overheard in a women's restroom that he was walking past, which, okay, dude, it's a little creepy, but circumstances happen. And it's two of Machiko's friends at the wedding, I presume. And they're talking about Machi and how she always likes to win. And she seems to have done so because she has a husband who's a doctor and also a great boyfriend. Yeah. So that whole we're having a baby thing is immediately hit with a sour note. And he reacts to it in an interesting way. By throwing the dart subconsciously or not, it's hard to tell. At the section that would denote her stomach or belly. So we'll come back to that later. But for the time being, he's like, you bitch, you cheated on me and such. That's not even my baby, is it? And I think it's at this point that she realizes, hey, we're already dead.
So as it turns out, they had been driving and she'd been checking her phone because she's been doing that a lot, and it's been making him very nervous and very jealous. And he's like, "Let me see who it is." And he's driving.
That didn't happen.
Okay, that happens later.
Yeah, she just remembers that they went off a cliff. They crashed the car. They died. This is when the bartender explains what this actually is. This is a judgment way station, essentially, for... Here's where the first arbitrary bit comes in. So, the concept of this place is it's judgment for people who happen to die at the same time.
Or around the same time. It's a somewhat generous time frame.
So,
if I recall correctly.
Like, I have to assume it's not just around the same time, but also in a similar location, presumably, because just around the same time, like
it is around the same. Right? It is around the same time. It's around the same location. I don't want to kind of expand on that. There is there's more than just him as an arbiter who does these judgments. It's a much bigger thing than it initially appears. It's just that this is the role that he's been assigned.
Okay. It seems like a very arbitrary system of judgments for very specific circumstances for no especially clear reason. Like, just the part where it says, okay, only for people that died around the same time is utterly unnecessary for the sake of the concept. You just say, this is a place where people get judged, and like ancient Egypt where your heart would be weighed against a feather, it's that kind of scenario. That's about all you need. You don't... Why around the same time?
The tying thread is, I believe, pretty much everyone who comes through this judgment hall are people who have died but are connected in some way in how they died. And so whenever they tend to go through these judgments, there is a definitive thread between the two people going through it, usually. The same time thing, I think, is arbitrary, and I don't think it actually means what it does in a weird way. Because when it says same time, usually it's because those two were connected in more ways than just the same time.
Alright. Yeah. So, that bothered me, but yeah. So, yeah, you're already dead. This is where you get judged as to whether you're going to go onto the reincarnation cycle or you get sent to the void. So, heaven, hell for the Western mindset. And it's at this point, husband realizes something significant about the rules, specifically. That bartender didn't specify whose darts had to be thrown at which target.
Yeah.
So he decides, fuck it, I want to win this game. And this cheating bitch can go screw herself, no matter how much she says she didn't do it. And he's about to throw the dart when... No, we missed a bit. He's doing the cheating, you're a cheating cheater thing, and she realizes, who's Machi? That's not my nickname. That's the nickname of someone else that I knew from ages ago, who has a husband for a doctor, who's been married to him for a few years. That's not me. We called her Machi because she didn't like her full name because it sounded too masculine. Machiga or something, probably. I don't know. Something like that. And then she remembers the whole we're already dead thing. So he's like, okay, I don't care. I don't want to go to hell. So he throws a dart at his own target, her dart at his own target. Or tries to, but she stops him. And they wrestle. And it basically slips and hits her target in the heart section, causing him pain in the heart and getting her a bunch of points, so she wins.
Mm.
And he's incredibly distraught because he remembers how the whole crash happened.
Yes.
Because he crashed the car because he was fighting with her over her phone. Because she got a phone call and she wouldn't answer it, and he got pissy about the ringing being annoying, I assume, and tried to answer it for her, and she didn't want him to. And so they struggled over it. There was an oncoming truck. They veered out of the way only to fall off the guardrail, and that was it. This is also where it's revealed that he's actually kind of an asshole, just in general. But
yeah.
So, yeah, he's distraught because, oh god, I killed our kid. I was going to be a dad. I just wanted to be a dad. Oh god, please tell me it's not true. So, she tells him it's not true. And reveals that that whole Machi thing, yeah, that was her. She totally did cheat on him.
Totally. That's what she says. And this is really interesting because she's lying.
I'd be surprised if they made an actual flashback scene of her actually cheating on him.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if you're saying that's not really what happened.
Yeah, she's saying she's trying to shift the judgment so that she's seen as the more villainous one, so that he can try to get off here. And in this case, it works.
I hope you're basing that on future information from future episodes, because that sounds like bollocks.
I am basing it off. The next episode deals with what's going on behind the scenes, because there's she's trying to. She remembers, I loved this man. I'm going to try to make it so that I seem like the villain here, and that I'm the one worthy of being sent to the void. And it's really interesting because it works, and this show starts off with a flawed judgment.
But it's also really not interesting because it works. Because she gets sent to the void for cheating on him, whereas he intentionally tried to kill an unborn baby, and also demanded that the bartender let him hit her when she revealed this, which, again, unborn baby, just gonna throw that out. I know they're already dead, but just gonna throw that out there. And she goes to hell for cheating on him, which she didn't actually do, but that's what the judgment is based on. Also, the game was apparently completely pointless, or the winner goes to hell. That kind of makes sense.
The way it works is...
But also, winning by an accident is a weird...
The way it works is the game is completely arbitrary. The point is to draw out people's inner darkness, so to speak, to try to show them like their true nature. And it is a flawed system, and Dekim is not a good arbiter. And that's important to keep in mind for the future.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this. I feel like if they played it straighter and were just, okay, this is a revealing your true colors kind of just an anthology of stories about that sort of thing, judging people for their deeds during life before they go on to the afterlife. That could have been a fun and interesting anthology series. I don't know what they're trying to do with this.
It tries to, like, here's the thing. It does do the anthology, but it also tries to tell a greater story about this judgment system and how it works. So there is other plot line. Whether or not that plot line's good, the thing I really liked about this show was some of the more anthology stuff, and there will be more stories that I think are way better than this one. I think this is the weakest start.
I mean, they did have to explain the entire concept for the sake of this episode, so it makes sense that they would have a pretty thin story. I did think this was thin, but it had to be for the sake of explaining this concept to the audience.
This was one of the weaker ones, definitely. There are some really interesting ones up ahead that I really like, but yeah, there's some problems with this particular case that get addressed in the next episode. I'm trying to kind of explain it, and I probably am doing a terrible job at it. But this is not a show that you can just watch the first episode of, I guess.
Yeah, I'm getting that impression. It might be a case of, okay, I end up appreciating this more in hindsight, but just from the first episode, I feel like this just earned itself a need to really impress me in future episodes.
Yeah.
By starting like this, so it goes.
At the very least,
I don't hate it. I don't hate it, but you know,
it just doesn't seem.
The concept seems a little wasted so far.
Yeah, just keep watching is all I'm gonna say, and we'll see how your opinion develops as this goes on. One thing I do love about this show more than anything else, and I know this is gonna sound stupid, but the actual opening, once you see it.
Well, we saw it already.
Yeah, but like it's so unfitting. I love it.
Dance party.
Yeah.
Including actual Dance Dance Revolution, which I hope is an actual game that they do at one point. That would be pretty cool.
It would be pretty cool if that was actually in here.
It is in here, isn't it?
No.
Oh. All right. Also, the animation style, the art style is fine. It's vaguely realistic for anime, but that makes sense. I assume most of these episodes are basically going to be bottle episodes that just take place in this bar. So that makes sense that they would have a lot of money to spend on just this one scene, this one setting.
The most you'll get is like you might get an episode or two at a different bar, but it's going to be mostly in this bar.
And the character artwork is interesting. It's going to sound stupid, but it has character. The character art has character. Because the faces, like, it's not Ichiro Oda level, everyone has a bizarre and completely different face, but there is definite defining characteristics for each of the faces.
There's a uniqueness.
Like the woman in this one seems to have a surprisingly square jaw for most female characters in anime, for example. So I appreciate that. Like a lot of so many shows like the same six faces. And they would have been able to get away with that in this show. There are not going to be many characters for every episode, and they're going to be one and done, and we're never going to see them again, and you can just use the faces again. No one would really notice or especially care, but they seem to have gone out of their way to actually make the characters look somewhat unique. So, good job.
the faces make it seem like every character matters more, and I like that.
Also the bit where husband is having a bit of a mental breakdown about killing his unborn child, and
it's so animated.
It is, and it seems to go over the top in making him look a little more grotesque. This is right after the flashback where it shows you how much of an asshole he is, and the artist decides to make him look ugly as his actions portrayed him as, and then it does a similar thing with the woman as well when she's doing the "I totally cheated on you" thing, which
he was freaking out with his jealousy, and they end up driving off the road. It wasn't like he was intentionally trying to kill her and himself.
No, he was just being an asshole. I get that.
He was. But
unborn baby.
Just
gonna remind you.
Yeah, the idea of what have I done? I like the animation, and I can't wait until we get to. There's one particular of these stories that I really want to get to, and we'll see how you feel when we get to that, because that's worth discussing.
The "What have I done" also rings slightly hollow after trying to murder the unborn baby. Just gonna remind you and poke at that as much as it really deserves to be poked at, because it really deserves some poking at. Unlike that unborn baby that he poked at.
Oh, yeah, he's a terrible person.
With a dart. So, yeah. I guess that's that. That's pretty much all of my thoughts on it so far. I didn't really notice the soundtrack, if there was much of one. I don't think there was. But if there was, and I did notice it, that's usually a good sign.
There was one that was a little bit more subtle. It more so is meant to put the characters on center stage and just provide some ambience for this episode at least.
I will say, I hope at some point someone orders a drink. Because, if it's a bar setting, come on.
There will be drinks.
Okay. I feel better about that now.
Hey, you're dead. Get a drink.
Why not, right? What's it going to kill you?
Yeah. What's going to stop you?
All right, so that's all I got. Yeah. You have to close now.
Be back next time with the next episode of Death Parade, Episode 2, Death Reverse.
We missed a bit at the end. This is the post-credit scene where it's like, so yeah, she went to the Void and he went to reincarnation, huh? And he's like, yeah, you'll get used to this line of work and stuff. So there's a new girl and another girl that's been doing this for a while, and they're like showing her the ropes kind of thing. Is what it seems like. Yeah.
More will be found out later. And also, the name being Numbers is intentional. The whole Dekim, Duodekim. So, just keep that in mind.
Cool.
Yeah. See you guys next time.